Welcome to Strat-O-Matic Baseball, a site dedicated to Strat-O-Matic Baseball, the original fantasy baseball. In this video number 2, I'm going to talk about my likes and my dislikes about the board game. Like number 1, flexibility. You have gameplay variations. You can use real teams or create super teams. You can play exhibition games or create a league. And of course, you can put yourself in the game. Gameplay variations. There's the basic side and the advanced side. I use the advanced side. And on the advanced side, you have advanced options or super advanced options. And I mix and match based on how I want to play. Primarily on the pace of the gameplay. And you can use real teams like the 2015 Royals or the Hall of Fame players, or what I call the vilified, those that could have been Hall of Fame players but were not elected into the Hall. You can play exhibition games or create a league. I am in the process of playing a Royals league where I've got all my Royals team competing against each other. I've had also All-Star Leagues and World Series Contender Leagues, just for the fun of it. And of course, you can put yourself in the game. If you're a baseball player or a softball player that has stats and you want a card of your own, well, you can have that made. Or you can do what I did and create a super souped up players just for the fun of it. Yeah, you probably don't want to roll a 1, 2, 3 on this guy. The next thing I like about this game is realism. Real strategy, real players, real stats, real abilities, and real limitations. I have here on the screen outscored from 2015, 17, and 19. You can see that his batting average, at-bats, etc. are all different. You see his running number, his advanced air numbers are different. I just love the fact that it caters to that particular person from that particular year. You can play in different ballparks. You can rob home runs. You can hit and run. You can steal. You can do all kinds of stuff. I just love the realism of the game. And then lastly, I love the emotions of the game. The thrill of victory coming from behind in the bottom of the ninth. And the frustration of not quite getting that roll. That'll get the RBI. And of course, the agony of defeat, where you just can't get a base hit when you need to off your opponent's pitcher. Oh, it stings. Just like real baseball. Yes, I love the emotion of the game. And now on to my dislikes. So my first dislike happens to be the rule book. I find it to be convoluted. It is not exactly user-friendly. It seems to be put together in a cramped style, meaning it fits as much into as few pages as possible versus being clear. For example, you run into this problem many times. Use the basic rule such and such with the following modifications. For example, stealing. Use basic game rules such and such through such and such with these modifications. You have to flip back to that section, read those rules, and then flip back to the current section just to find out how to play the game. And so I think it's best to organize the rules by subject with the advanced and super advanced in that section rather than by basic, advanced, and super advanced. So this is how I wish they would do it. Like for stealing, the basic version would be 8.1. The rule breakdown would be 8.1.1, 2, 3, whatever it is. And then the advanced version would be 8.2. And the super advanced would be 8.3, etc., etc. I just think a complete overhaul and redesign of the rule book would be great. Another dislike of the rule book is the editing. Here's a chart. How many runners can be on third? Is it men on third or is it a man on third? Or how about this one? First baseman, 1 word. First baseman, 2 words. Second baseman, 2 words. And then second baseman, 1 word? Yeah, the editing's not very good. And if I'm being nitpicky, on the baseball cards, players' cards, it has the triangle. On the ballpark effect and in the rule book, it tells you what to do with that, but it doesn't tell you why. So I contacted Strat-O-Matic, and they said that it was an adjustment made for sets that were created prior to the super advanced level, and that the reason for having it has probably been lost for decades. What I do know is that when you see a split like that, it fine-tunes the success rate. So I actually play with it. As for me, I went through and created my own rule book. And wherever they had a rule, I put the rule location of the official Strat-O-Matic rule book in there also. But when I'm playing the game, I created a 13 by 19 strategy poster that I use for quick reference. Dislike number 2. Not able to bunt for a hit in the board game. Now, I think in the Baseball Max version you can, but in the board game, when you hand roll, no, I don't think it's possible. And I'm going to go through this a little bit here, but I'm going to go through more of it in video number 5. Strat-O-Matic game tends to cater to power, but fast runners who can bunt, there really isn't a strategy that benefits them. And I'm a big Royals fan, so I'm inspired by one of my favorite Royals players of all time, Willie Wilson, who could bunt for a hit, get inside park home runs, triples, great defense, all that stuff. In 1992, Brett Butler had 29 bunt singles. In the same year, Kenny Lofton had 22. Both 50% success rate. In the years from 2007 to 2016, there was an over 400 batting average for bunting for a single with nobody on base. And then on the Bill James Online site, when I did this research, they had this chart that showed the success rates for all the zones. If you notice that Zone 6 is 720. Pretty incredible. Zone 2 is 400. Zone 5, 500. And then you got a couple weaker zones. And so it averaged it out to be about 438. So what I did is I created my own zones. I have 7 zones. I have 3 zones for the catcher, 2 for the pitcher, 1 for third base, and 1 for first base. Using an 8-sided die. And I'll talk about the 8th zone here in just a moment. And, of course, you have a 20-sided die for you roll for success. First thing I did is I come up with a bunter value. I took the bunter grade, gave it a value. I took the runner's rating and gave it a value. You combine those, you get the bunter value. Now you notice the numbers in the light blue. Those are the premier bunters, okay? They have special advantages, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. And then I took that bunter's value, and then I added the defender's range. And then that's the adjustment that you're going to make to the set success range that's already there. Now, if you have your defense in, depending whether it's corners in or infield in or whatever, it greatly affects the outcome. So there's the ranges and adjusted values. And then now let's talk about Zone 8, the swing away zone. So what I decided was that in baseball, you may start with the bunt on, but depending on the strategy that's going on, or if you get 2 strikes, the batter will swing away. So I wanted to include that in there. And so Basically, in the 8, 9, 10, if you are a premier bunter, you have some advantages, like number 10. If you are a premier 4, which is an A17, then you can hit a home inside the park home run. Of course, if you have the defense in, then there's other opportunities. Obviously, if the defense is in and you swing away, you have a greater chance at hitting a single. So, or even better. Now, also with the premier bunters, with base runners on. In the regular game, they call it sacrifice and stuff like that. But if you have a premier bunter that bunts well and can run, there's no reason why they can't bunt with a runner on base. I won't go through the details, but basically one rule to rule them all. If it falls within the safe range for either the runner or the bunter, that determines whether they're safe. If it falls outside that range, then they're out. And depending on what the number is, you have 4 different outcomes possible. So, and again, only premier bunters can do this. So this is a quick overview of the charts that I used to come up with this. The gameplay is actually pretty quick. It doesn't take too much time to figure it out. But I'll go into more details in this in video 5. Dislike number 3. Not able to add the latest Hall of Famers to the Hall of Fame set that you already own. Yep, you got to purchase the whole set all over again, even if there's like 3 or 4 new inductees for that particular year. So the current cards have SOM Hall of Fame on them. And my solution would be to add the year to it, SOM Hall of Fame, and then for the new inductees, have the year, SOM, HOF, plus. You can do it on a sheet of 9. I don't think the Hall of Fame has ever had more than 9 inductees, so you can easily add it to the set. You can treat it like an individual team or additional players or some kind of compromise. As of August 2024, you can get a team for $3 or additional players for a whole set for like $22. But I, as a fan of Strat-O-Matic Baseball, would be willing to pay somewhere between $12 to $15 to get a sheet of the new Hall of Fame inductees instead of having to buy the entire set all over again, which is crazy. So, that is my dislike number 3. So, my likes and dislikes. I love the flexibility of the game. I love to pick and choose which level of advanced play I get to incorporate. I don't have to do some things, and I love the flexibility of it. I love the fact that I can have different teams put different players on different teams, all kinds of stuff. I love the realism. I really like the ballpark effects. I like the players' abilities are more specific. If you got a guy that can steal bases, he steals bases. If he can't, he doesn't. I like the emotions of it. I like the frustration of it too, even though I don't like being frustrated. But I do like the emotions of it. Oh, that was such a great play. Oh, I came back in the bottom of the 9th. Yes. Oh, I hit 2 grand slams in one game. Yes, I have done that, but I love this game. But, of course, the dislikes. I don't particularly care for the rulebook. I do think it's convoluted, and it could be streamlined a lot better. I don't like the fact there's no bunting for a hit in the board game. But, of course, as you know, I've already solved that for myself. And then no addition of the new Hall of Famers. Hopefully they'll get a wind of this. Maybe they'll make that decision and make that change. I think it would be great. But, hey, I love this game. I'm going to keep playing. And I got more I want to share. And this next video that I'm going to do is going to be number 3. It's going to be for new players. It's about reading the cards. This has been Strat-O-Matic Baseball, shining light on the original fantasy baseball of Strat-O-Matic. Thank you for watching. hit that thumb, subscribe, ring that bell, and visit Strat-O-Matic.com for more game information. And this video is still not sponsored by Peanuts nor Cracker Jacks. And until next time, play ball!